Welcome to the Howell Business Beat, where we delve deep into the dynamic world of entrepreneurship, innovation, workforce talent, economic development, and much more, bringing you the latest insights and strategies to thrive in today's competitive business landscape. I'm Janelle Smith, president of the Howell Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Dianne Samples. Welcome, Dianne.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here.
And today we have our special guest, John Cueter, president of Brighton Ford. Welcome, John.
Hello there, ladies. How are you?
We're doing great. We're thrilled to have you in studio. I can't believe we got the John Cueter today.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, I swear. I was like, what? The excitement is real. So thank you so much for being here.
Glad to be here. Thank you very much. Appreciate you inviting me. Thank you.
Of course. So John, for those of you or those of our listeners that may not know you, could you just share a little bit about who you are, what you do?
Sure.
Do you enjoy long walks on the beach?
Long walks and short piers.
All right.
So I've been in the car business for pretty much all my life. I started when I was like 15 years old, and my family had a car dealership in Ypsilanti. It was Chrysler, and we had that for several years. And we sold it about 18 years ago. So I started out there and worked through all the departments. And I've been in sales, service, all the departments in the dealership, mostly sales oriented, which is the generation of our business. But service is very important too. Mm-hmm. I'm now president of Brighton Ford, and I've pretty much worked in every department throughout the store. So it's been in my life, part of my life since I was like a kid.
Wow. That's fascinating. And I have to ask because I have to know. So you've worked in all of the departments. What was your favorite?
You know, I am really, people is what I talk about. It's not the cars per se, even though the cars is the widget that obviously makes this all happen, right? But it's the people. It's the people and the community that has always been my favorite. So that's really sales and service, kind of a combination to make sure the customer experience is top notch. So I love working with people, making sure that their experience is, top notch, and my team is really focused on the customer experience, and that's always been my favorite part of the business.
That's fantastic, and I think that shows in some of the success that you've had, and we're going to get a little bit deeper into that today. So I appreciate you sharing that. We talked a little bit about how you got into this, and I'm wondering, so next, what are some of the latest accomplishments of Brighton Ford? I know that we're talking about customers and service and sales and how that goes hand in hand. Sounds like you've got a little bit of a secret sauce.
That's a great way to put it, Janelle. So I've been there just about 6 years now. And when I first came to Brighton Ford, it was there for about 30 years, the business in Brighton. And the one thing I recognized is we really needed to pull the team together a little bit more and have one team focus, which I've really spent a lot of time on since I've been there. And we've got such a great team that have really come together over the past several years. And we've hit a lot of different milestones and awards. The latest being the President's Award, which is 10% of the dealers in the Ford dealers in the country. There's 2,900 Ford dealers in the country. And we hit President's Award the last 2 years, which is the first time in our history. The first one was, and we hit it 2 years in a row. And we're really excited for our team that they achieved that. And that's achieved through several criteria. Most of it evolves around customer experience, your survey scores and that kind of thing. After your sales, you take delivery of a vehicle. After you do service with us, you get a survey. And you have to meet the criteria of having high customer service in the dealership, as well as market share, which revolves around sales. So you have to sell X amount of vehicles per year. And if you hit all the criteria and you meet and you're in the top 10% of the country, you win the President's Award. So we've won that 2 years in a row. The other one that we achieved the last several years is we're in the top 100 volume dealers in the country. So out of 2,800 Ford dealers in the country, we're in the top 100 sales volume in Brighton, Michigan, which is pretty cool. And
that's super
another
impressive.
testament to our team and our community that supports us so much. And we're so grateful to our community and, again, our team that makes it happen every day. But it's really what we've established in the last several years is that one team mentality where everybody's working together, and that's something I focus on every day is customer experience and teamwork. And so it's worked out well.
That is amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, I love that philosophy because it seems like in such a competitive industry, when sales obviously is a big component, that's hard to create that culture, that sense of one team within a sales force.
It is. And once you get on that role where everybody's working together and people buy into that philosophy, as you guys know, from what you do, it's incredible what you can achieve as a team versus different departments. Because we have 6 different departments in our company, and they all have to work together and all be rowing the boat towards the same goals. And so that's what I really focus on to make sure that's happening every day.
Well, and this is such a great segue to take me into what I was going to ask next, which wasn't a part of our pre-discussion.
I know. She's really rocking about now.
Yeah, right.
I know. But I'm curious because one of the things that we hear a lot from businesses and employees are the challenges that they have in creating a great workplace culture and cultivating some of that team mentality. So could you share with us, what are some of the really good proven strategies that you've used within your team that you feel has really added to the strength of that team mentality and building that culture at Brighton Ford?
That's a great question. The first thing that I believe is that everybody buys into the goals. Everybody can't just say that's the goals of the company or that's the goal of our boss or any of that. It has to be clear goals that everybody not only understands, but they buy into. So it all starts there. And from there, we have usually meetings a couple times a month with our whole management team. We have 11 managers at our company, and I lead the meeting, and we go around the room. Everybody participates. Everybody talks about where we're going with our goals, and we give feedback on how other departments can help the other departments, and we really just all communicate. It's all communication. When we make mistakes as a team, we help each other. If things come to me, the first thing that I do, that I make sure that those departments try to work it out between themselves first, instead of just coming to me, which is, again, I want to get involved in everything. Don't get me wrong, but it's important that the team has the trust factor, because trust is the number one thing in any team. And you establish that trust by everybody trying to work through not only challenges, but achieve the goals at hand, right? And if you do that, and if me as a leader of the team, if I'm making sure that that attempt is made first before it comes to me, instead of me just jumping in and trying to solve everything, it really achieves the ultimate goal, and it establishes a more solid foundation. And it's really about the foundation. If you got a solid foundation, that's where it all starts, right? And it's communication and working together. So
awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's really insightful and helpful, and definitely I think will resonate with a lot of our businesses that are listening in today.
Absolutely.
So, John, we talked about some of your recent achievements and your secret sauce, so to speak. But one of the things that we really wanted to hit on today was more of that cause-related marketing that Brighton Ford does within the community. And you've mentioned community a few times, and kind of that's where your passion lies and really drives you to do what you do within your industry. So I was hoping you could just shed some insight on that today. Just where is Brighton Ford involved in the community, or where aren't
Where
you?
are you not
Might be the
involved?
shorter list. And then why and how you choose to engage.
So we have currently around 40 charitable organizations that we work with. I have always believed heavily in giving back to the communities that surround us and support us. If you're doing that and you're doing it with a passion and you really are doing it for all the right reasons, it not only helps, of course, the charities and the people involved in these charities, but it also eventually comes back. And it's not a direct give where you do things so you get business back, but it does support our business. And we're a for-profit business, and we have 130 plus employees that most of them have families. And so there's a lot of people involved that are there to earn a living. So it does come back and help them with what, of course, they're there to do is earning a living, right? So if you do it the right way and you do it with heart, it does all come back. But most importantly, it does help a lot of people in the community. So it really just is all encompassing. And I've always believed that if you do it right and you do it for the right reasons and with passion, it all comes around, because the community needs support. There's a lot of need out there for support. Children's charities are our number one focus. Schools, we work a lot, as you know, with the chambers. And to us, that's all local. It's all, again, schools, children's charities, and a lot of different charities. Like I say, there's around 40 in total that we work with. And so I believe that is more important than anything. That, along with good customer service, really is the driving force behind our business. So that's why we do it.
It's just outstanding. 40 charities. That's a lot.
That is a lot. That is a lot for one organization to stand behind. But I think it's your authenticity. I mean, just sitting here talking to you, and obviously we've had a lot of conversations, but it's just, it's that sense of, just like you said, it's from the heart, it's authentic, it's genuine, and it comes back to you tenfold.
It does. And again, not why we do it, but it does come back.
But it comes back in different ways.
It comes back in different ways.
Yeah.
And when I see people in the community that have grown and benefited from the help that we've done in our outreach, it's why I do what I do, And I feel that as a president of the company, if I have that vision and I have 130 people, that eventually that same philosophy will drive through all of my team. And I would say for the most part, we've got that covered, because everybody on our team that works with us really jumps on board with that philosophy. And they come to us with individual requests. I mean, our employees do, our customers do, and it's rare we say no. Of course, you can't do everything, but it is rare that we say no, and we look at all the things involved, and we just love doing what we do, and it revolves around good community service. So.
Well, we sincerely appreciate your community partnership, not only with the chamber, but with all of the nonprofits here in Livingston County. I know that we can't do what we do without you, and vice versa. It's such a partnership, and there's a lot of reciprocity there. So we thank you so much for all of that. And I would also want to ask, if you were talking to another business that was maybe considering looking or revising or revamping their current marketing strategy to incorporate some more of this philanthropic or cause-related marketing, what would you share with them, and how might they get started?
So the way we approach our marketing budget, because there's in any business there's a budget. You have to. You can't just say, "Oh, we've got an open checkbook," right?
Right.
Got to make a
It's gotta
dollar.
make sense.
Make a dollar less than you spend, right? It's business 101. But the answer that I would give to that question is really look at your total budget for what you can afford and desire to spend in your total marketing, and make sure that community is a portion of that, whatever that percentage is. For us, there's digital, traditional, and community. There's 3 buckets that we have in our marketing budget, in our advertising budget, and community is a large percent of that. It does affect what we spend in all other categories, which is the digital and traditional. So it's really a balancing act, and you have to decide for your individual business what portion. For us, it's a large portion of it, of our total marketing budget, because that's what we feel is the best bang for the community and the best bang for our dollars, is because the need is there and it all comes around. Again, we love doing traditional, we love doing digital, and we do a good portion of that as well. But you have to decide how much that community of your total marketing needs to be, and do it the right way. Don't plan it. It would be another thing that I would say is plan your budget according to those percentages.
Right. That's great advice. And I think too, just in the lens of community, it's an opportunity to invest, an opportunity to support, and an opportunity to market your business. And within the community that's also supporting you, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah,
Well,
it's important.
How big is that engagement piece for Brighton Ford when you're looking at those marketing dollars? Because again, you're getting that brand visibility, which is what everybody wants, but it's also that personal one-on-one engagement where you're creating those relationships.
You can't just write checks to these charities. You have to be out there meeting people, shaking hands, getting involved in the community. And there's so many different opportunities, sometimes too many, right? But we all know that because
There's only 24 hours in a day.
Right, there's 24 hours a day. We all have, things to do, families, whatever. So you have to it's a balancing act, but it's so important to have the community engagement piece along with just the financial part of it. They go pretty much hand in hand. I mean, obviously the need is there for the financial part, probably a little more, but I think you have to really find ways to be engaged as well. It's important.
Well, like I said, we appreciate that investment within the community and all of the wonderful things that you guys are doing at Brighton Ford. Before we, I'd like to just touch on one other thing today, and I'd like you to share any type of industry insights that you might be able to. I mean, industry forecast. I know that Ford seems to be doing really well. So I just was wondering if you could share anything new on the horizon, what you're anticipating for the next coming months, coming year. I know it's a wild time because it is election season, so you never know.
You never know. So the timing for that question is good. I was at our annual Ford dealer meeting last week out of town, and they shared a lot of insight on what's coming, and some of it's unknown, right? We just don't know. I mean, the business is evolving like crazy, and most businesses are. I mean, we're heavy into the go to the customer space, meaning we deliver vehicles, we pick up and deliver for service so we're going out to the customer more than the customer is coming to us. So all of the manufacturers, Ford is, I think, leading the way in a lot of their efforts on mobile service, pickup delivery. There's a lot of things that you're seeing ads out there for now that we're really finding ways to cater to customers to come to them because people are in the immediate click a button, and like the Amazon experience.
Right.
So.
Absolutely. Well, we just talked about, there's only 24 hours in a day.
Yep.
So modern conveniences, people are all about that. And sometimes it's worth it to save that time. Their time is more valuable than trying to go out and, maybe find the best deal. Not saying that Brighton Ford doesn't have the best deal. But
right. Well, we have those too.
Yeah, exactly.
But back to your question, the business is, I feel, going to continue to grow, and that was the forecast. Ford is leading the way in so many things right now. Product, quality, they made a lot of headway in quality. And so they're really making some really good moves in their management leadership team and just their different initiatives that they're doing. Electric vehicles is obviously, we all know, a big thing in our industry today. That segment is starting to grow a little bit. It's not moving as fast as they thought at the beginning, but it's kind of creeping up there. And they have some new electric vehicles coming out. There's some mandates that are out now that the manufacturers have to have so many electric vehicles next year and the year after. So it's there. We all have our questions about electric vehicles, right? Range and range anxiety. We've heard all that, but it is going to be a portion of our business. I don't think anybody knows how big of a portion of the business it's going to be. I think we all have our theories on it, but it's just going to continue to evolve. We have 3 electric vehicles out there now, and they're selling. They're not selling in huge numbers, but we are selling them a little bit more every month. And so that was a big part of our meeting, is kind of talking about that last week. But the industry forecast and the predictions for the numbers, usually around 16, 17 million that are sold around the country as far as total vehicle sales is considered a great year. And I think they're looking at 17 plus for next year and finishing this year probably around that 16 million, give or take. So again, a lot of it's unknown. There's a lot of moving parts to this year with the economy, election, all that stuff. But it's gonna. There's a lot of things that are very, very positive, and we think it's going to be a great finish to this year. We at Brighton Ford, myself, I think it's going to be a great year and a great year next year, even better next year. That's what I think.
I hope so. I think so too.
We love to hear that. But I do have one last question. So how did you go from being raised in a GM dealership to moving to a Ford dealership? How'd that go over in your family?
So being brand specific has not been in my realm. It's been, again, I'm going to go back to customer and community and all of that. But to answer your question a little more directly, we had a Chrysler dealership in Ypsilanti, not GM, but it was Chrysler. And we had it for 18 years as a family. And then when we sold our family business, I moved on and I ran several dealerships for a large company and as a regional vice president. And I had 8 different manufacturers and 17 different brands under those manufacturers. And so I didn't get too caught up in the brand specific. I mean, that was GM, Ford, Chrysler. I had some, other brands like BMW and Mercedes-Benz. Ford is in my blood. Ford is my brand. Ford is my home. Ford is my love. Okay, but I've had other brands too. And it really goes back to customer experience and community. It's the best way I can put it. But Ford is my number one in the rest of my career. So
it was just meant to be a fun question because I know in some families that gets to be a little bit
it does.
of a sticking point.
It's a great question, and some people are really focused on one brand for one family,
Right.
and I get that. I mean, people, whether it's Ford or Chrysler, GM, whatever.
I mean, I'm all over the board. I'll just buy whatever.
Ford is my brand. I got to be careful when I say what I'm saying, but it does. There's a component in me that it's always been about just the business and the people and the community, but Ford is where I'll spend the rest of my career. That I know.
I love that.
Awesome. Well, it goes back to that secret sauce,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
You figured it out.
Thank you for sharing that with us today and with our listeners. And we appreciate all of the things you do and your partnership within our community. So I hope to continue to see great things to come. I know we will, and I'm sure we'll have you back soon. But for all of those that tuned in today, thank you, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Howell Business Beat.
Today's episode has been brought to you by our generous sponsors. Brighton Ford. Save time with Brighton Ford Pro Services. Managing your fleet is easier with Brighton Ford as a partner. With one call, you can manage your entire fleet, sales, service, parts, mobile service, and financing. Brighton Ford is your partner in business. Pepsi and Trinity Health. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of the Howell Business Beat.